Hello, hello. I'm April Hunter, your host of the A Show, and I am sitting here with the beautiful Shelly Martinez, who is a professional wrestler, a pinup model, a entrepreneur, and also a very active weed advocate, marijuana advocate, before it was even a thing. So we are thrilled to death to have you. I'm thrilled to death to have you. I haven't seen you forever, especially you're out on the left coast. We don't get to see each other too much. So welcome.
Well, thanks for having me. By the way, that entrance was so cute. We know it's all about a good entrance. And your hair in that picture in the corner where it's like poof, yeah, that is so cute.
That is a fall. I put a fall in for that one.
Oh,
So
I love it. I love it. I miss that look. Like, anyways.
that's you. Well, you do it for a podcast. Last week I did it for the podcast. So let me welcome. Hey, Fred, and you can on our chat. Our our viewers will be checking in. So hi, Doug, Cranky Pants. Are you new? Hello, hello. Hi,
There
Allie.
we go.
Welcome, welcome. Hi, Fred, and it's nice to see everybody. Hi, Winona. So yeah, this podcast almost didn't happen because I lost my internet Sunday morning with Frontier and still don't have it. So um,
So
oh yes, I forgot
actually,
to
April,
mention
I hate
also
to butt well,
vampire.
I hate to butt in here, but this
Do
is
it.
Big Ray. He used to
Hmm.
do the voiceover for our show. It is actually Big Ray's 46th birthday today.
Ooh,
So he
happy
turned 46
birthday
today.
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Big Ray. Happy birthday to you.
And many more. You always got to keep them handy. I had to fumble a little bit, but there you go.
Perfect. Yeah, I should have added vampire to your resume. Damn. Forgive me.
You know
So
what? It's just a given. We don't need to advertise it. It's just it is what it is, so
that's
it's fine.
true. That is
Mhm.
true. So hello, Destroyer Rex. Hello, Eva. Hello, Jukebox Bill. Hello, Stephen. Thank you for joining us as we populate. I was asking Shelly, how the hell are you and how have you been?
Well, I've been nice and miserable because I'm just waiting for my vag to bleed. You know how it is as a woman when it's coming and you're just like, please just bleed so I can just not be this miserable right now. Thank you.
Yeah, you keep listening at the door. You're like, is it knocking? I thought it was knocking.
And
I thought it knocked. No, it didn't knock. Okay. It should be knocking any minute now. I'm gonna let it in. So
exactly. And the thing is like it's not like I'm worried about being pregnant or anything weird like that. It's like it's just being a woman. And here's the thing, I don't know if you can relate to this, but for especially
I
being a
have a
pro
vagina. I probably can.
wrestler, probably. But during my time in wrestling, it was super easy for me to just use the depot shot because of like the time difference and all that. Hold on, let me just put this on a no. How do I do that? My computer's kind of new, so sorry for like I need to
It's
put do
okay.
not disturb.
We're
But
we are
anyways,
yeah, we are all having technical difficulties. So thanks for everybody being patient tonight.
oh
Okay,
yeah.
so depot shot.
So the depot shot, and when typically I wouldn't have a boyfriend, I would go off of being on birth control, so there was periods where I wasn't on birth control, and those were the times I felt the best, healthy, and
Hmm.
like in my mind too, mind, body, and soul. So I didn't realize till like a couple years ago when I started connecting the dots that a lot of my issues were leaked back to birth control. So I went from the depot to the pills, and then in September I stopped taking the pills. I was like, you know what, I'm an old ass bitch. Whatever happens, I'm in a committed relationship, it's fine. Like, fine, whatever. And so ever since then my body's been through hell, like complete
Hmm.
hell. Like, so now I feel my periods when they come, they're like this intense, like we were saying, like you're just waiting. It's like it's not only you're waiting, it's like you're waiting for your date to come, so you're excited because you just want to like see them. And after a
Just be
while,
over.
yeah, it's like, no, come on, just get here. Like, my
Well,
boobs
I hope
hurt.
it smooths out for you. I am I've always been a how do I put this? Not a fan of birth control or the hormones at all. So I've always stayed away from all of that. And I think I've been lucky to have been able to avoid all of it. But I get it. It makes things easier for everybody involved, men and women. But I think that stuff messes with people so much, and we don't really know. We don't really know, you know.
That's the thing, and like it's just so crazy because it's almost like, I mean, I don't mind trying to sound like gnarly or whatever, but it's almost like
It's too late. We're already gnarly. We've gone there right off the bat. People
but
expect
like
nothing less.
it's almost like when somebody's addicted to something and then they quit, they have these like weird withdrawals, like they didn't even like think they would ever feel these feelings. Like that's kind of how I feel with the like detox with this birth control. It's like this weird, you don't understand and you just want to be better, so like what the hell are you supposed to do? And oh my god, it's been rough.
So what's good with you? Are you loving living in LA?
You know, I'm a Cali girl through and
Mhm.
through. So I always knew I'd end up back here when I moved out of state for a little bit. But you know, I just been trying to navigate through, because I am a full-time content creator, so it's been really weird going through the whole detoxing off the birth control and I'm supposed to feel sexy. Like most of my content sexy content, so I'm supposed to feel sexy and I'm over there feeling like absolute. It's been like such a journey, but now that a lot of the worst is behind me, it's interesting because like now when I need to motivate myself or push myself, it's like on a different level because I understood myself at like this weird rock bottom kind of feeling. And so it's like I've survived. So now it's kind of like it's shifted who I am, to be honest with you, like, and the way I look at things, and just changing the way I go about things and taking care of myself first. Cause I don't know if you can relate to this as well, being a content creator, but there's been times where I've been too worried about pleasing my awesome members
Mhm.
before my like own like mental and physical health.
You just don't feel like doing anything, and you get caught between the I don't feel like doing anything and I don't feel like doing that. I would rather do something more creative because I've already done that a million times. Like I've done a version of the nurse already, and I've done a version of Santa Claus already, and I've done a version of this already. I want to do something really fucking weird and creative and cool. So yes, and welcome to everybody who has come in late. Thank you for showing up. Yeah, no, I understand that completely. And I remember you reached out and we had a conversation, I don't know, earlier this year, and you were talking about some of this. And I think everybody deals with, to some degree, everybody deals with, especially this year, kind of high energy and low energy, otherwise known as feeling okay and being depressed. And we go through these things where it's just difficult to uh, presume or resume normal life. But when you are self-employed or content creator, you have to, because you only get paid when you work. So then that piles up, and the messages pile up and the work piles up and things aren't getting updated, and it gets overwhelming. So I understand. But I honestly think the fans understand more than we give them credit for. I think,
Well,
because I've
maybe.
had a few times where I've popped in and said, hey, it's I've been having a rough time this week. I'm sorry. Mentally, I'm like all over the place. And people like, take your time, get your shit together, whatever it takes. And you'll lose a couple of people, but sometimes, for the most part, most of them will stick around.
You know, that's mostly true, but what broke my heart, I'm not trying to throw my secret society under the bus or anything, because 98% of the time they're all awesome. But you get those couple people that God bless them, thank you for your support, but geez, like they don't
Bless
make
your motherfucking heart.
I so
We wish you the best in all your future endeavors.
exactly.
Yeah.
But what really made me sad was when my 20-year-old min pin, Fred Mertz, passed away. Everyone knew,
Mm.
like, that's like almost half my life I had this dog. Everyone knew. So it really bummed me out that I lost a significant amount of subscribers. Same thing when my girl Ethel, when she was 14, passed, because I wasn't uploading. And I was like, you guys know, like, and I'm the type of creator that I pretty much, I
Cheers
would
to that.
say, yeah. I would pretty much say that I update about anywhere between 5 to 6, sometimes even 7 days a week, like
Mhm.
consistently for years. So I was like, dude, I put out so much content. And like, this is like, it hurt, but it's fine because there were the ones that did stick around, and I'll always remember that, especially the ones that like I never even talked to before. They've never said a peep to me this whole time they've
Yeah.
been on my site.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I'm so sorry about Fred, or I'm so sorry. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it says here you've been with me for quite some time. Like, okay, like, so it's
Yeah.
fine. But that did hurt my feelings.
It does. But I think sometimes they don't think that we're, I don't know, human, or that we do human things. And I remember that time for you, and we talked about that. And I think I told you I was going through the same thing when Bella died, because our dogs passed back to back, and I was wrecked. I was destroyed. And there was this big gaping hole in my life because I was so used to taking care of her because she was paralyzed. And there was so much that I had to do for her. And all of a sudden, there was nothing anymore, and it was like, um, it was hard to just function. I don't have kids. I'm not married. My entire family's gone. My mom and dad, my grandparents, everybody's gone. I have no family. So it's like, basically, as pathetic as it sounds, my world revolved around it revolves around my pets and my work.
I don't
Wow,
think
I
that's
never said that
pathetic
out
at
loud.
all.
That's really bad. So
That isn't pathetic at all. But here's the thing, what you don't realize is because you were doing that and you were sharing that like online, I was able to see that. I
Mhm,
remember there was times where Fred, because towards the end, he couldn't walk on his own.
mhm.
And I would think about your dog Bella, and I would think about like all these posts that you would make about the bad days where it was a struggle and you felt like you're losing your mind, and then the good days, and then like the in betweens, and you sharing that journey when Fred had that decline, because it seemed like it kind of happened fast, you know?
It's really fast.
It's like I thought of you and I was like, no, and that helped. You were part of what helped me be patient with him, and I made this little device so I could help him walk. It almost looked like a puppet, but
Oh,
like I just want to let you know a lot of that energy came from you and what you were showing with Bella.
thank you.
So
Thank you
thank
very
you,
much.
because it was hard. It was hard, and
I
when you have to
appreciate
take care
that.
of a pet that is like you said earlier, like, oh, I sound pathetic. You know, but like these dogs are babies. They kind of got pathetic towards the end, and it's like not everybody experiences having to be a caregiver to, because like at least with humans, they can somehow communicate with you, like whether it could be verbally or they can like, somehow. But an animal, there's just no way, you just got to do your best. I don't know. It's a lot. So kudos to
No,
you.
it's thank you. Same to you. Yeah, I feel like it's a till death do you part thing. And for some reason I can do till death do you part wonderfully with animals. It's just humans I have an issue with. I don't know. So one out two's not
Humans
bad.
are a
Hey.
whole other issue.
Right? They're so complex. Well, here's the thing. Humans bite the hand that feeds them, whereas animals do not usually.
I'm more forgiving if my dog bites me.
Right? So you're getting a whole lot of love in the chat. People are
Oh my
proclaiming their
goodness.
love to you. You're getting offers of to have slaves. One guy's offered you marriage. So just letting you know that
So sorry,
people are happy to
everyone.
see you.
I'm just excited to like, because you and we've kept in touch, been
Mhm.
texting and stuff like that for years. So it's like I finally get to see you, and it's like, so sorry, everyone. Sorry. I'm like
She's
having my
mine
moment.
tonight. So yeah, so I know I haven't God, I haven't seen you in forever, but you are really good about reaching out. You're better about reaching out than I am. I can be where how do I put it? I can be mentally connected to people, but not actually connect to them. I'm really bad. Like I will just get absorbed in work and home and everything. And I'm always happy when somebody reaches out to me and says, "Hey, what's up?" But I'm a lot of times not the first person to reach out, and it's really cool that you do that and other people do that. And I need to learn to do that. So
Well, here's
plus
the thing.
I
That's
always
just
feel like I'm
not.
bothering people too. It's like I don't want to
I
bother
do
anybody.
too. I do too, because this is how it works for me. I don't know why. I've just always been this way. Someone will be on my mind, and then I'll be
Hmm.
like, oh, I wonder what they're up to. Like,
Hmm.
I'll sometimes, if I feel like, oh, maybe I should pray for them, or oh, I hope wherever they are right now. I've been infamously known to say this: wherever so and so is right now, positive vibes to them, like whatever. But when somebody's
That's so
energy,
California.
I know. And so when people's energies kind of like haunt me, I feel like I have to say something. And there's some times where like I feel kind of anxiety going into it because I don't want to bother people. You know what I mean? Like I grew up in a household where I was not to be seen nor heard. You be quiet, don't make noise, don't ask questions. So I have like this thing about me where I'm scared to like say something, or like I don't want to bother anyone, or like I don't want to rub anyone the wrong way.
I grew
So
up the same way. Kids were annoying to adults, and it's funny. I think that was just a generation of, you know what I mean. I understand where you're coming from with that.
well, my mom, God bless her, but she's a bitch. So like it's real deep with me. Like that's just the truth. Like I've said it to her,
Bless her heart as well.
not in a disrespectful way, but like it's just the truth. God bless her, but she's a bitch, and she's been a bitch to me my whole life. So but I'm grateful for it though, and I don't hold resentment, because that's why I am like what you're saying. I do reach out because like I feel like if someone, like if you're on my mind, I can't get you off my mind. I'm gonna reach out, and then I'll never forget.
String theory,
Yeah.
right?
And so when was it? It was quite a few years back. Um, I started to feel really like kind of guilty, like in that sense of I don't want to bother people. I don't want to bother people. And I'll never forget Ashley Massaro. We had some signing together, and afterwards we were hanging out, and she was like, I just want to let you know, I don't know why, but every single time you text me, like I'm in a really low place, and like, and I was like, whoa. And so
Mhm.
ever since then I told myself, no matter what, if someone's on my mind, Ashley's proof that
Yeah.
they needed to hear from me. And so that's when I really started to do that, to where I didn't care if I was bothering people. Like, it was fine,
And
because
texting
like,
isn't bothering someone. People have the option to get back whenever. That's the beauty of texting. So it doesn't bother people.
right. But
Yeah.
because I know
Yeah.
people are busy and things like that or whatever, but it all stems from my mom was a bitch. So I had felt all these different feelings, and I always didn't want to make people feel that way. And it's a double-edged sword, because like it helps me have these, like, I think about people's feelings, I put myself in people's shoes, but it's made me also be a people pleaser. And so that's gotten me in a lot of trouble in my life. Like a
Yes.
lot of trouble, like even going to the content creating we're talking about. Like I didn't
Yes.
realize until recently how much I was being so people pleasing to my content, that I was getting sick, and not like mentally and physically, because I wasn't taking
Hmm.
care of myself.
Something you say on that vein was two things I wrote down was they say a sign of emotional maturity is when you stop caring what people think. And that doesn't, it can be emotional maturity. You can hit that at any age. You can be 19, you could never hit it, but that's one thing. And the second thing is imagine the freedom that artists have had in their lifetime to create and not deal with likes and not deal with feedback. They just created whatever they wanted and put it out there. And if you liked it, you liked it. And if you don't liked it, you moved on and you saw another artist. But we live in this world where we get instant feedback. And, when we do create, we show what we're creating at the time. Like here, even if it's a photo shoot, here's what I'm going to be wearing. And this is the costume I'm working on. And this is this. And, I'm making this. And then we show the whole thing. It doesn't matter if it's art or cosplay or whatever, we show it and people do feedback with it. And that's sometimes detrimental when you're actually an artist. Sometimes it's good just to do what you want to do because you know what you like. That's all. The only thing you know what you like. You don't know what other people like, right? So since you like certain things, there's going to be other people that like what you like too.
Absolutely. And
So
that is such a good point. And the thing is what you and I do have in common is that we do come from the .com world, but before it was a thing, like
yeah.
before it was different then. Like it wasn't this, like you said, this instant like post and feedback. It's like you shoot a bunch of stuff, you give it to your webmaster, he puts it all together for you and post it. Or if you learn
Mhm.
it yourself, you're real fancy and like you can do it. But it's like it was this whole process.
Mhm.
And where we both have experiences not just as models but also in the wrestling world, because the wrestling world was the same thing. It wasn't, hey, here's my match on YouTube or Vimeo or whatever. It was you had to have someone tape your match, and then
Yep.
you had someone that knew how to edit the tape,
And then
and
edit
then
out the fuck ups.
exactly. That was the group.
Transition that one right out. We'll transition right to the comeback.
And then
Okay.
they got to put the music on, your entrance music on there. If you got someone that really knew what they were doing, maybe a little graphic, a little fire, maybe.
Little preview. Yeah.
It was fun. And then you had the era of the CD-ROMs, like, or the DVDs. Like that was like, oh, okay, great. I can make a bunch of them real cheap. But
Yeah.
it's like people. There's so many people that will never know. Like I don't know if you watched that Pam and Tommy on Hulu. Did you see
I
that?
haven't. I've heard good things about it.
Well, I watched it and reminded me so much of like that era that I'm talking about. It's like, it wasn't this way. And we're so, like you're saying, it's like society now, even people who don't even care about seeing models or entertainers, like people are just on social media and posting away. And it's just so crazy. And it's messed with me in the sense of, I've had my YouTube channel for a really long time, like really long time, and it still doesn't get the requirements I need to get monetized again. And it
Mhm.
frustrates me. But hearing you make that point, because I'll be like, man, there's some people with a channel and like they have hardly any content. They got all these views. What am I
Yep.
doing wrong? And then where I've gone wrong with that, with my modeling or with my other content, is I try to go with what people are doing that seems to be working. And let me tell you something, April, 9 times out of 10, it never works for me. And what always works for me is going back to the basic, my .com back in the day mentality, members, this is what I do. And I don't know, it's just been like quite the journey, but you bringing up those points made me realize it's because I like to create. I'm not just saying I want to create
Yes.
so I can make all this money. It's like I want to create, but I also want to make some money too, if I can.
That's it. Because it's the gratifying part. You wouldn't still be in this if you weren't a creator first. So, because if you were in it for the money first, you'd have gotten as much as you could get and you gotten out already.
Right.
So most, as well as I do, most models are around for like 3 to 5 years tops. So we've been in this shit. We're like OG, you know what I mean?
And
So
looking good.
yeah, looking better than a lot of girls half our age. Actually, most girls half our age, to be honest with you. So, all right, fuck it. Anyway,
Yeah.
well, there we go.
Oh, here we go.
Anyway, no, but seriously, we've been through a lot, and part of the reason we opt to stay in is because we actually really enjoy the creative process, and we enjoy creating the content, and we enjoy being artistic. And one of the things I always loved about what we do, whether it's a wrestling match or a photo shoot or writing, is, I used to say early this morning, there was nothing except for a vision that I had, a vision for a match or a vision for a shoot or a vision for a video that I'm making or a vision for an article. And now at the end of the day, poof, there's something. And I made that out of nowhere. And I love that. I love that. I can't imagine doing anything else. So the fact that the internet gives us this incredible outlet to do it is something I'm incredibly grateful for. There's incredible twice, sorry.
No, that's
However, so incredible. But And thank you. And thank you to everybody who has popped in. Thank you to
Yes.
all of you who are sharing this link on your social media and bringing more people in right now. You should go do that right now and bring them in. Thank you for everybody subscribing. I see some of you throwing bits. Thank you. Titty shake for bits. We
Oh.
appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for being here. But yeah, I think I get your frustration. I really do. I don't know. There are some, I can't figure out how some people have gotten so famous and known so quickly. The only thing I can think of that is that they're kind of a flash in the pan and they won't have the long lasting staying power or the long lasting impression that a lot of people do. And for example, and this is probably not a great example, but it'll just be an example. Unfortunately, most of us know who are everybody in the business knows this, and a lot of people know that Scott Hall passed away recently this week, the other day, and everybody remembers him fondly. And he played a bad guy his whole life, and he dealt with a lot of tough things his whole life. He had what a lot of people refer to as a lot of demons. He didn't have it easy. And a friend of mine joked around and said that he thought that a lot of people who had rough parents and rough upbringings and rough lives, their soul creator said to them, all right, you're going to go back. You're going to incarnate. Okay. And I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be fucked. You got to go back and fix a lot of things. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you really, really good looking. So it won't be all bad for you. That this will be where you can get by a little bit in life a little bit easier. So you're going to have a hard life and things are going to be fucked and you're going to have a lot of work ahead of you, but you're going to be fucking hot. So that'll help you out a little bit. That's just a theory. So I think
I like that.
I do too. I do too. So I was wondering, like some of these wrestlers and everything, like, obviously they're 7 foot tall, 6'8", these guys, obviously they fall into that category as well. Scott had a rough go of it in his life as well. And despite all of that, everybody's remembering him very, very fondly. They have nothing but good things to say about him. Whereas if you take a new guy who gets popular on, say, a reality show for doing lots of crazy stuff and gets 1 million followers right away and then kind of disappears in 2 years, no one's going to have much to say about that person. They're probably not going to remember them in 5 years. So you not comparing exactly, but yes, comparing. When you have the longevity and you stick around and you make an impression and you work with people and you rub off on people, there's a different kind of payoff and gratification to that than just having numbers and dollars, I think.
Absolutely. There's I don't like to say names. So there's this girl that I know or knew, and she is a huge name.
Do I know her? Say her name.
I don't know if you would know her, but she's a huge name on YouTube currently. Like she's been a huge on YouTube for a long time, making.
Does she have big ass titties?
Yeah.
Okay, I narrows it down dramatically. Okay, I'm just gonna keep getting. Okay, got it.
But I knew her when YouTube wasn't like what it is today, and she was one of the first people ever to tell me that you can make money on YouTube. And at that time, I remember her telling me she was making like $1,000 a month. And to me, I was like, wow, that sounds really awesome. Like $1,000 to like put content on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So, so it's like, and I say that just because like, she's probably a millionaire now. So it's like, that's how long, like she was an OG. She wasn't one of these people who started and just like, whatever. So what I started to notice, like we had a falling out, and what I started to notice when I would see her stuff was like, I'm not trying to judge. I'm just saying like my gut feeling was like, she's not the same person anymore. And that's sad. Like, and I've seen that happen a lot of times, I've even seen it happen to myself where I'm like, oh my God, who are you? So no judgment, it happens, So as time has rolled on, And now she's known for being a very problematic person on YouTube, but it's almost like she rolls with it and just makes money that way. I'm like, oh man, that's terrible. And that's got to weigh on you. And so it's just like, there has been times throughout that journey of me trying to build my YouTube during the time where she was building hers. And I was just like, what is it? Like, I worked so hard, especially because I used to be in the indies and I would have my little camera and people get so annoyed. They'd be like, they're
Yes.
filming.
Yes,
And
yes. Because we were always taking pictures and filming everything, and people would get so annoyed with
they
that. And
get
then you're
so
handing your
offended.
camera off. Yes.
So offended. So I thought that what I was offering, because I wasn't trying to be in competition with her because her content was completely different, but I thought what I had to offer was this like behind the scenes look into the wrestling world, you know? And so I would get throughout the years frustrated, and it seemed like every time I get super frustrated, like I'd find out all of this like stuff that this girl was going through that like behind the scenes. And it's just like, damn, that sucks. Like that's a lot. And so over the years, that's when I started to realize I don't think that's worth it. And then when, even though my YouTube channel wasn't succeeding, it was like the fact that I am the editor that I am today, where people pay me to edit videos for their company. It's because I had all those years of trying on my channel,
Mm-hmm.
trying. And so, like, all that hard work and knowing how to edit, knowing how to shoot, understanding lighting. And that all comes from my modeling and from just doing it yourself because people
Yep.
let you down, as you know. It's like,
Yes.
it's like when people let me down, it's like it was so frustrating. And then seeing people not put as much in effort. But
As you would.
yeah, but
Yeah.
now I look at it all and I'm just like, those people don't know how to do all the things I can. If I feel like up to it, oh, I feel pretty good right now. I'm gonna go shoot over there real quick and it's gonna look bomb and like I'm gonna make some money off of it. Like that's the creator I am. And when you were saying
Mhm.
before about when we didn't have to worry about likes and all that, I can't tell you how many times, and I know you know this, I've done shoots. I've never really seen the finished product, but it was just about that's what I do. Like you go to these shoots, you know, you do your deal, like, and it's like being that independent model back in the day. I don't know. It's just I always love that. Like it's not
Yeah.
about saving all of every single thing. It's about this is just what I do. I love the experience. I love getting to there and then meeting the people and then doing the whole thing, not having to worry about lighting it myself and all this. So,
Yep.
you know, that's why we get
I,
along so well.
it's a business. Some people treat it as a business, some people don't. I remember one time, just because I've loved the written word so much, I've always kind of gravitated toward it. And I remember doing the shoot one time for myself only. I didn't really care. And it was always one of my favorite shoots. And I don't even know if I ever went out there or if anybody even liked it, but I've always liked it. So I put the background, I shot it in my apartment in Louisville, and all the background was newspaper. So I just did newspaper behind me. I was wearing like a black, I don't know, some kind of cute, sexy halter top, some kind of really tiny, tiny bikini bottoms, black thigh high platform boots. And then I had these, at the time, I had those kind of tattoos where they looked real, but you could put them on. I
Oh,
remember
right, right.
covering my whole body with tattoos, right up even around my face, my neck, my chest, everything. This was before sleeves and all that was a thing, and I just was head to toe, all tattoos, wearing black with the newsprint behind me, and just ended up, doing like all like,
Yeah, of course, of
you know
course.
what I mean, that kind of stuff. And I loved it. I loved the shoot, and I don't think I got much of a response from it, but I was just like, this is what I like. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I was that was the thing that I thought was so I took an opportunity. Like when people like I talked to them about like my wrestling or whatever, the opportunities I used to take were I would see that most of the girls, whatever company I was with, didn't really care unless they were told to do a shoot. So I would always get together with the photographers and be like, dude, I seen this fence over there. Let's go bang this out. And so like I really was able to like utilize that. And I think that's when I really started to be able to learn more about cameras and lighting because when because it was kind of like this impromptu stuff, I would ask them, I'd be like, "Oh, how come you like, what's that? Or what does that mean?" And, "Oh, like, if I want this to look this way, like, how are you gonna light it?" And that's where, like, it really, like, came together. So, I don't know, you're really inspiring me, to stay on the track that I'm in, because I just recently kinda changed the way that I'm gonna approach doing my content. And I keep going back and forth, like, do I do this or do I not? Do I not? And so now I'm taking this as confirmation. No, yes, that's what you do, Shelly. Duh.
So thank you first off for that. I appreciate it. Secondly, I'm seeing a lot of
Oh,
comments in the chat. Thanks, you guys. Thank you for throwing bits. So somebody said my camera is fuzzy. I think is everything clear, you guys? Is everything? Can you see me all right?
I can see you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm once again, I have no internet at my house. I haven't since Sunday morning. I'm working, trying a hotspot with my phone, which I ran out of data because I have a basic plan and had to buy more to do the show. And maybe it's not Twitch, maybe it's, my situation here. So I apologize if there are any freeze ups or issues. So thanks for bearing with us tonight. So believe me, up until the show started, I thought about canceling. So, but here we are.
Here we
So,
are. It's something that you talked about earlier when you said you don't know how some of these people like are famous. Something that is so interesting to me. And this is, I swear to God, I am not trying to be a bitch. I am not trying to like be, this is just, I would love to hear your thought on this. Because you do come from that old school, do it yourself, old school way. So it's interesting to me because, you know, in some people's eyes, they brought up to me, it's like I went from being in mainstream wrestling to doing fetish work. And
Mhm.
it's, which is fine because to be honest with you, I did fetish modeling before wrestling ever entered my life. So that's nothing new.
Yeah, me
And
too.
so it's like it just was new to people. They're like, "Oh, what is she doing now? She must be desperate." No, like no.
Yeah, that
So
mentality is so interesting to me. I'm glad people are a little bit more aware of things these days, but still, it is a very interesting mentality. So, but go
so
ahead.
what's interesting to me is that being that I did do some fetish modeling before wrestling, when people within wrestling and behind the scenes would find out when I got into it, it was always like this gossip. Oh, did you Shelly Martinez? Did you see that? Blah blah blah. Passing the pictures around, whatever.
Yeah,
I had no idea, and I went here over here. Hi guys.
yeah.
I had no idea. And so, some of the girls would try to like almost put me in this category my whole wrestling career. I mean, I did wrestling for 17 years. That's a lot of my life. Like, that's a lot of years of my life. So, these girls, some of them they made this decision from when I first met them back in the day that I was just this like bimbo, but I look like a vampire, but I'm just like this ditzy pothead, like slutty content girl kind of thing. You
What?
know,
You're not? Get off
she's
my
not.
podcast right now. That's what I
She
was hoping for.
or the other attitude would be like, oh, she doesn't really care about wrestling and da 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 da. And it's like,
Yes. Apparently, you can't care about wrestling if you have ever modeled and shown your boobies. It's like you can't take it seriously.
word on the street. That's
Yep.
the word on the street. Yet
Yeah.
who's jacking off to those photos and that content? The freaking people that are judging us. But whatever. So, anyways, it was one of those things where like that kind of like stuck with me and it pissed me off as I got out of wrestling. And that's why like I knew I needed to leave it. And a lot of my epiphanies didn't even come until like I was like away from wrestling for a few years. And something I realized was that these girls, a lot of them started at a really young age or in a part of the world where wrestling was very available. When I
Hmm.
started wrestling and the West Coast, it was dead over here. There was like a couple companies
Yeah.
and if you don't know about it, I didn't. That's when I was like pushing on my acting because I wanted to be a wrestler. I just didn't know how. I didn't know there's wrestling school. I had no idea. So you know, some of these people that like come from the West Coast as well, or where I met during West Coast time, they put me in that category. And then later it's like their parents have been in wrestling. Like I said, they've been in it since they're 16. And I'm like, dude, I started kind of late as far as some of these people are concerned at 21, you know? So
I did
I
too. I had a whole other career before wrestling.
yeah, a whole other career. And so I am so sorry. I thought I turned this off. But it's like I got treated this certain way and I didn't realize that's what a huge part of it was until way later. And then what kind of annoyed me was some of those same people that made my life hard because of it have the OnlyFans. And let me tell you something. I am the queen of tease. I do not show nips or vag. So I
Wait,
have
what's your
no
perfect opportunity. What is your OnlyFans right now?
oh, onlyfans.com/Shelly Martinez. Very
Okay,
easy.
go.
And
Never waste an opportunity to promote. Go on.
So the reason why I say that is because some of these gals, they're going topless. And so it's like, hold up, everybody.
I've run into that too. I've seen a couple of girls who have now pay sites and OnlyFans.
I'm like,
who were the ones
like
that were the first
garbage.
ones to give me a bunch of shit. And instead of like running from it for me, I just owned it. I'm like, yep, you've probably seen my titties. What'd you think? I paid a lot for them. So, you know, like that was my whole, I think you knew that though. Like that was my whole thing with it. Cause I mean, there's no way with all the work I had done that I could ever hide that. So I might as well just own it. Be like, yep, business decision got me to where I am now. So I always used to say this. I'm like, yep, and what you do isn't who you are.
For me,
And it's funny now. No, I'm just saying it's funny now to see some of the girls having pay sites and then pushing their sexy pictures. And yeah, I saw that too, and I'm like, huh.
and I'm not, here's the thing. It's one thing if they weren't into it and maybe these girls, they feel better about themselves. I'm all about that. I'm not taking it. I'm talking about these girls that just made it so rough, the gossip, the talking behind the back, the politicking. Oh, she's just a da, da, da. Don't take her serious. And then it's like, oh my God. And I think and then going back to what your point was earlier about your theory, I know this might sound weird to a lot of people, but this is just the most transparent way I can say this. I didn't realize until I was about 32, 33 that I was hot. I didn't realize that. I didn't think I was ugly. I mean, I knew like boys always liked me, you know, whatever, but
Hey,
I
Shelly, you're
What?
fucking hot. Nerd.
But the thing, I know exactly. But the thing is like, I know this sounds so dumb. I know this sounds so dumb. I get it, okay, you guys, but this is who I am. So I'm the type of person that like ever since I was little, like I've been a deep ass little kid. And so like I would see people and I would see them, you know? And that's why sometimes when I would date guys, people would be like, how are you attracted to this guy? And I would think they were the most hottest thing on the planet at the time, but it's because I saw them. And so when I would look in the mirror, I didn't see like, oh, hot Shelly Martinez. I was like, okay, do I feel fat today? Okay, let me do my hair. That looks cute. Okay, my makeup looks nice. Okay. It was more like that. And so it's funny to me that these haters I've had behind the scenes, they're like thinking that I'm thinking I'm the shit. And so when I was like in my early 30s and I started like, I healed enough to be able to look back at my wrestling content and not be upset about it. So when I would see my aerial stuff, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, whoa, like, yeah, like I remember going through it, but I was never the wrestler that, and this is no dog on wrestlers that do this. This is probably why my career didn't go far. I didn't like watch my stuff back really. Like it was like one and done. What's the next show? Okay, one and done. When's the next match? Okay,
Oh,
one
I
and
watched everything back because I was
and
trying
see,
to learn. So I get
and
it.
some people did, and that's fine. But I just was going back to those modeling days. It was like there's so much I did. I didn't even keep track because it was just like, okay, what's the next one? Because that gratification, like you're talking about, it was like I was getting that dopamine hit of like being at the
Mm-hmm.
shoot, getting the makeup done, whatever. So with matches or even just valeting or whatever, for me, it was more like, okay, awesome. Okay, let's do this. Where's the next show? What's the next thing we're going to do? And so when I revisited my aerial stuff, I was like, oh, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then when I saw my Selena stuff, I was like, oh my God, I totally get it now. I totally get it. And again, it wasn't until I was like 32, maybe 33 years old that I realized that.
Yeah, I can actually relate to that quite a bit. I have looked back at some of my pictures or my videos, and at the time I didn't think anything of it, and now it'll take my breath away. I'm like, fuck, I looked perfect. I looked amazing. Why didn't I take more of an advantage of that? I didn't know, and I didn't know. You
But
don't
I feel
know,
like,
and I think a lot of it is the business too keeps you. Um, the entertainment business keeps you thinking that you're never enough. You're never tall enough. You're never short enough. You're never blonde enough. You're never ethnic enough. You're never this. You're never that. You're never young enough. You're never mature enough. You never. So you never really realize any power that you have
yeah,
until you get old enough to where you can't. You know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
do. And that's why like I've been able to understand these like little grievances I've had with different people because in
Mhm.
my eyes, it was like a lot of this weird vibes that I've got from people or straight up just like people that have been nasty to me. A lot of it came from like nowhere as far as I was concerned. I was like, what the hell's going on? I thought I was cool with this person and like all of a sudden they're like really weird and this is like weirding me out. And then I think maybe I'm just being like sensitive, like whatever, and I always make these excuses and then before I know it, I'm hearing that it's escalated on their end and like things get back to me and I'm just like what the f happened, like what did I do, like you said, I've been that girl. I will text people first. People always
Mhm.
tell me I'm good at keeping, like, I'm a good effing friend. So a lot of times it's like people, when these shifts would happen, it like, I didn't understand like why. And like I said, until I was older, some of these timelines, when I watch this footage back,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh my God, that's around that time where so and so was being real weird.
Yep.
And
Yep.
like, I don't even talk to them anymore for years now. And so putting that two and two together, and I feel though, like it just wasn't meant for us to know that, as crappy as that is, then, because like it would have changed who we are right now, I feel like our path.
That's an
And
interesting. That's interesting. That's a good.
because I think about this a lot. Like, when I was real bitter and disgruntled about wrestling, it put me in this vibe where I had to ask myself a lot of freaking questions. And once life kind of, just like with when I was talking about content creating and that girl that I knew from back in the day, now she's famous. It's like, now that time's gone by, it's like, wow, if that didn't happen, all of this other stuff leading to me being right here talking to you right now on your show, that
Mhm.
like it wouldn't be happening. It would be something else. And even though like I've gone through some crap and a lot of disappointments, I would not want anything different in my life right now. The people who are in my life, like where I live, like everything. Like there's just no effing way. I would be really bummed out if I didn't have what my life is today. So that's why it's like I wasn't meant to know then. But it's so interesting when I look back and I'm like, oh, and that's why a little secret for you people who follow me on Twitter, Shelly from Cali, that's when all of a sudden you'll randomly see me bring up some kind of weird thing, or I don't like certain people, or oh this and that, and then people are like, oh, she's just bitter. It's like, no, it's oh my gosh, I'm realizing it is what it is. I laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put it on there because I know that they all watch, because it always gets back to me. Oh, so and so said that you wrote this. They want you to take it down. No, no, no. Because before I used to say it, kind of like going with texting people, these certain
No, I don't
feelings.
think I'm going to take that down today.
Yeah, or ever. But like one of those things where like if something haunts me, whether it's a feeling or a thought, and it bothers me for days and days, I'm like, you know what? F it. I'm tweeting it out because I know this person will see it. And I swear to God, they always see it.
My friend Eva said that to me today.
Can't see, read that. Oh. Oh, yes, yes.
I've reached that age where my brain goes, you probably shouldn't say that, to what the hell? Let's see what happens.
That's it. That's who I am now, April. It's a long journey to get here. If you out there feel like you want to be in my shoes and you just want to say, what the hell? I'm here to tell you, go for it because it's awesome. It's not easy, but it's worth it.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head with some things about how we have to go through a lot of that for our journey. And I've gone back and kind of, I don't know if you've done that. I've buried the hatchet and forgiven a lot of people and let things go because I realized not only was I younger then, but I had a skewed perception in a very temperamental business. Um, and what I thought was happening may not have been the reality of what was happening. What I thought was being said may not have actually been meant to the way I took it. So, and things are different now. So I'm just like, fuck it. So that's how I am with a lot of it. So there's very little I
You
haven't
have
just been
to.
like, shh. I mean, at
You
the end of
have
the day, my theory is successful living too is the best revenge. So you have to look, I mean, there was a girl that I did not get along with in wrestling very well. She was not a very nice person. And she injured me in the ring. She was nasty. She was one of those people that always tried to um, politic and say things because of of modeling and doing pinup and burlesque and all that. And I follow her. We're Facebook friends, and she got real fat, real fat. So doesn't look the healthiest. So
And the thing is, on that note, I remember not too long ago, I think it was sometime last year, you had made some kind of post about people when they gain weight, and I can't remember what you said exactly, but the vibe was they got something else going on, and this is what the result
mhm,
is.
yeah,
So this girl that was nasty and toxic to you probably continued to be nasty and toxic all these years, and it was just eating up at her, and now she's an unhealthy person.
I don't
There you
know.
have it.
How you do one thing's how you do everything, isn't it?
It's so crazy because something that has been very challenging for me is accepting that I'm the weight that I am now, because I've never been this weight before.
It's
And
all in your boobs.
well, it's there in the boobs. But it's been interesting because I one day I and this is more recent kind of thing. I took a step back and I was like, okay, when did this start? And it started when I got super depressed because I decided I
Mhm.
was going to leave wrestling. I was like, I'm going to leave wrestling. I'm not going to have anything to do with it. It's not serving me anymore. It served a huge purpose in my life, but I can't. And so
Mhm.
that's when I was really able, like I said earlier, to heal from all the crap I went through in wrestling and really having to forgive myself for like the crap decisions I've made. Like that, like when I've been really douchebag, like real douchebag behavior on my part. And when I look back at that time, it's like, I was such a hurt girl just trying to find love and like trying to find acceptance, and being that, going back to my upbringing, it wasn't the greatest. I always felt rejected. So wrestling finally made me feel like I was a part. But then when I got in it, the judgment because of all this. And so it was like, oh my God, this is like my home life. And
Yep.
so it like was this whole thing where I had to start healing, not just my wrestling hurt, but like the trauma from like my childhood and adolescence. It was real deep. And so I was like, well, duh, no wonder why I got so depressed. And then I thought, I'm just going to do conventions. That's all I'm going to do. And then there was this convention I went to. Ugh. I went to this convention and I got so drunk that I don't know what happened at the end of the night. And I don't like that. And I remember at first everything was fine. But then what happened is I started to see people that, because at that point, I had been done with wrestling, but I was just doing conventions here and there. So I had some time to reflect and think about things. And I was getting real pissed at like how certain people were to me. So I just remember I was in the hotel bar and I started confronting a lot of people. I was like, I've been wanting to say this to you for a long time. And so I was going girl to girl. I remember at one point I was confronting this one girl, and this one girl.
That sounds like some shit I would do.
Exactly.
Cheers. Right to their face. Right to their face.
Right to the face,
Okay.
bitch. That right to the face.
Go
So
on. Don't let me interrupt that story. Go on.
I was confronting this one girl, and then the first girl I confronted walked up on it. She's just like, oh God. And so this is the thing that was so cool in that moment. The girl I was confronting, she was apologizing to me when the girl came up. By the way, all of them did. So it was a win. So when she was apologizing to me, she turns to the girl and she said, do you know when everyone in the locker room knew this, this, and this, no one said anything except her? And then they got pissed at her and then she got in trouble. And she was like, because of me, because she spoke up because of me. And, going back to what you're saying about the payoff, that effing payoff in that bar was what I needed. And it was all good. I was getting like my answers. I was saying things to at least people's faces to at least release it. But then there was a turn because there was one person in particular who at one point I thought the world of. And at this point I did not. And I was a little bitter at the time. So I was just begging for this person to be like, why are you mad at me, Shelly? But this person wouldn't. And instead, anytime I seen them at like a convention or anything, they would do the nervous, like kissing my ass. Oh, do you want a drink? Oh, can I da 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 da? And so I was like going back to that karma. I was like, oh hell yeah. If you're gonna be a little bitch and not ask why I'm mad, yeah, you can go get me some wine. I'll take it. Merlot, make sure it's Merlot. So it was like this whole thing that was going on. But at this point, I think it had gotten so bad because going back to the people pleasing, even though I was able to confront these girls downstairs, when we went upstairs, because he was doing some kind of interview or something, I felt like I was going to look like a bitch if I went up to him and confronted him. And it was going to be a drama thing, and I was really drunk already. So I chose not to say anything, and I kept thinking like, just say it, just ask me why, so I have a reason. And he didn't. And so I remember we were all taking shots, and so that's when I flipped to the payoff. I got angry because at that point I was just staring at him like, say something, and he wouldn't. So there was like a little after party afterwards in my room, and I don't know what the outcome was, and I don't like that. And when I hear rumors about like what went on, like I don't like that. Like that's really ugly. And I was like, I can't believe I did all this healing from getting away from wrestling, and then now this is happening. Like I'm acting like this. Like
yeah.
who am I?
Yeah.
And so that's when I was like, you know what? I'm not doing any more conventions. I had to be done 100%. And I'm glad because, excuse me, if I hadn't been still doing conventions, I wouldn't have had the closure with those people. And
So I guess you're not going to be at WrestleCon.
no,
Okay.
no, no.
That was
No.
one of the closing. I was going to say, where can people see you? Where can people see you? Are you going to be at WrestleCon?
If you're ever in California, you let me know and we'll go out, hang out, whatever. But no. And the reason why it's not because I'm like, oh, F wrestling. It's more like, you know what? It really did serve a purpose. And the biggest thing I gained from wrestling was when I moved to Kentucky. I had to get a wife for Fred Mertz, my dog, my min pin, and that's when I got Ethel.
Ethel. Yeah.
So if I didn't get signed and got sent to Kentucky, I wouldn't have had her. And there was no other dog in this universe for me to take care of for her life than that little Ethel, you know what I mean? So I don't think people realize, like, when they hear me say I don't want to do it or whatever, they think I'm just like upset. And that's when people are like, oh, well, what if we pay you this amount? It's like, dude, no. It's like, no offense, I don't want to be around these people. The ones that I'm cool with, I talk to outside of, like, it'd be nice to see them, and you know what, they make it happen. Like,
everybody's so scattered, but yeah, when we're all in town, we try, right?
WrestleMania is going to be here next year, so there's going to be people around for WrestleCon. So it works out. It always works out. And I don't know. So that's why, like, when people are like, well, why don't you even do conventions? It's like, I can't, because I'm not going to take a chance for me to have another bad night because I miss, like, seeing people or having a moment of being nostalgic. It's like,
yeah, you got to safeguard your mental health. So,
yeah.
Where can people find you? Where are you with all your content and you're creating?
Yes. Well, if you go to shellyslinks.com, SHELLY, links with a S.com, it's all nice and organized for you. It has my Secret Society link, which is my exclusive content. And it does list my OnlyFans link, my main site link for that, and my Patreon. You can go on Patreon. On Patreon, there's different tiers. So you can it starts at $5 and it goes on up. On there as well, it shows you where my Twitter is, my Instagram, it's all there. Shelly's links, my YouTube. I worked very hard to make it nice and organized for everybody. So that's where you can check out all my stuff.
Awesome. And I know you do a lot of this stuff yourself. I know you maintain it all yourself. So when you are supporting Shelly, just like myself, you are actually supporting us because we're doing the work, we're putting the time in. So definitely go support her. And I'm supposed to be on her podcast next. Because of my internet thing freezing up and everything that you guys are complaining about right now is why I didn't want to take a chance screwing up her podcast tonight. Also, it's okay if I screw my own up. You guys will forgive me. You love me, right? So I don't want to do that to her though. So when we sign off, we also do a peck twitch. Are you in?
Hell yeah. Let's see.
All right, let's see. Ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Oh, come on. You can do better than that.
I'm trying. There we go. It's been a while.
Oh, you're doing it. Nice.
Because I got fat old titties right now. I'm not as lean as I got Mr. Fat old titties. Go to my OnlyFans.
Phenomenal. You're fantastic. Okay, well, where I'll be, I will be back here again. I will be on, next Sunday night next Sunday night, next Tuesday night. We'll be back on here. Thank you for everybody who are, subscribing and doing your thing to keep us on the air here. And by us, I mean us. You can find me on Patreon, April Hunter. You can see every episode of the A Show, Patreon, the A Show. You can find me on all my social medias. That's really easy. I will also be at WrestleCon on that Saturday. My booking was an epic disaster. It fell through, but I still have the flight. So I will just kind of be walking around saying hi to people. And it'll be an in and out type of thing. But, after being in school for years and then COVID hitting right after I graduated, I feel like out of sight is out of mind. So I'll just stop by, say hi, peck flex a little, and,
make a couple bucks.
Right. I don't even know if I'm going to make a couple bucks. It'll just be more like, hey, hello, how you doing? I'm still alive. My ass didn't fall off. So one of those things, you know what I mean?
You'll figure out a way.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks to everyone for being here tonight. We love you. Thank you, Shelly, for taking the time to come on here. I appreciate it. Hopefully we can have you back because I could talk to you for like hours and hours about all this.
Oh,
So
anytime. I love to chit chat it up because, like I said, there's a lot of things that I don't talk about because I feel going back to that people pleaser. But it's true though. Sometimes it's not just that. I feel people can take what you say maybe wrong when it's just like somebody sitting in a video saying this, and this. But when it's a
mhm.
conversation, I think
Yeah,
even if people disagree with what you're saying, they can still like maybe see, oh, okay, that's why she feels that way or that way. And so I just think it's more constructive to have good conversations. So I will come back anytime.
all right, great. Well, stick around for a second when we sign off.
Okay.
And thanks, everybody, and have a good night. See you next week. Mwah.